Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 1st of November 2019. So, welcome everyone, guys. Welcome to this Friday's morning session. Welcome to this first trading day of November. As always, today we're gonna have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of the charts that we looked at yesterday. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which you can find here on the top if you click on jfdbank.com. And it will take you to our page, which we update on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So yep, feel free to check us out. So but for now, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now looking at this index, yesterday it sold off, and I talked about the FTSE on my Espresso yesterday, and basically what I was saying, that in order for us, let's say, to get excited about either of the further directional move, we would like to see a break of one of these highlighted areas first. So in a way, we never got the break here above the 7,351.50 zone. The index drifted lower, sold off heavily, but still remained above this other important area of support that I was talking about, the 7,250 zone. So from which you can see that it kind of rebounded a little bit. The cash index currently is running around the, or should I say, slightly below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. And in a way, for now, what we're going to do is just going to wait, because for now it's a bit of a tricky spot here, because on the one hand, yes, it continues to trade above its short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of October, but on the other hand, it's struggling to push above this key barrier, and it's kind of failing to move and failing to create a higher high here. So in a way, that's why for now we're just going to stick around here and just going to continue observing the price action. And if we get a break through one of those levels, then yep, we will aim for further directional move, at least in the short run. So a push above the 7,350 zone, 51 area, somewhere around there, could in a way increase the chances of a possible test, a retest of the 7,440 zone. Last time that was tested in the end of September. So a good potential target here, but in terms of the downside, a drop below the subside line and below the 7,250 zone could in a way send the index towards the 7,200 obstacle here. But if this is just seen as a temporary kind of barrier here, then yep, a further decline could could help FTSE 100 to revisit the 7,140 zone. So for now, guys, long story short, basically we're waiting. WTI oil. So I talked about this one recently as well, and basically what I was saying, that we need to keep an eye on this little short-term upside moving channel here. So for now, you can see that the lower bound is currently holding the price from moving lower. We did have a bit of an overshoot here, but as you can see, the price quickly kind of went back above it. So the bulls kind of pushed it back inside this formation. For now, yeah, like I said, we're going to wait here, wait this one out. But if if we start seeing another drop here below the lower bound of the rising channel, then of course keep an eye on this, on the lows of yesterday, which were near the 53.70 zone. So a drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could then aim for further declines here. And for today, for example, we could then start targeting the S1, which is around the 53.40, or the S2, which is around the 52.65 zone. So, and also is not far from the low of the 21st of October. So, all right, let me just quickly put this one on the chart here. So this is what we're going to be targeting if we get a drop below the lower bound of the rising channel, and in addition to that, if we get a drop below the 53.70 zone, so which is the low of yesterday. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Quite interesting developments here. Let's see how this is going to play out in terms of the upside. Well, ideally, we would like to see a push back above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and that's roughly around the 55 mark. So if we get a push above that, then yep, in a way we could see a push higher then, because this would also place the price above all of its EMAs basically. So more buyers could see this as a positive and could start joining in here and pushing this one higher. But for now, guys, we are where we are. Let's see how this lower side of the rising channel will hold. If it holds, that's wonderful. Then we'll keep an eye on this 55 mark that I just talked about. But if it starts falling, if it starts breaking, then keep your eyes on the 53.70 zone. A drop below this could lead towards further declines. Bitcoin, very quickly on this one. So I talked about Litecoin yesterday, and just a quick reminder, here it is. Basically what I was saying about Litecoin, that we are kind of forming either a flag here, either a possible kind of falling wedge formation here. So in a way, it's still, in any case, we still need to wait for a confirmation break. So, and that breakthrough would be through the this upper side of the wedge, or this, in a way, downside resistance line, this short-term downside resistance line here, and of course a push above the 63.30 zone. That's what we would need to see here on Litecoin in order to get excited about the upside. So similar story here on Bitcoin. So basically with Bitcoin is forming somewhat of a we could start seeing maybe here a falling wedge. The only problem here is that it's more of a maybe a descending triangle here. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, these tend to break to the downside according to TA textbooks. But then again, you see, this is the problem here, because in a way, one could see a descending triangle, the other one could see actually a falling wedge. So in a way, that's why for now you could just stick around here and keep an eye on some of the key support and resistance levels, so just to be on the safe side. So because if we get a push, let me just quickly put this one on the chart. If we get a push above this level right here near the 9,430 zone, and by the way, I'm looking at the Coinbase exchange here, and you might have something different here, but basically the high of yesterday, if we get a push above the high of yesterday on my chart here is the 9,433, then yep, we will consider a move higher. We will consider a possible move towards the high of the 28th of October, which is around the 9,940 zone. But if that is just seen as a temporary obstacle on the way higher, then yep, we could target all the way here, this level right here near the 10,540 zone, which is roughly near the, or should I say, the high of the 26th of October. So again, guys, that's something to consider here. But if you're not sure which pattern this could be could it be a flag, could it be a falling wedge, could it be actually a descending triangle? So the easiest way would be just to kind of wait for that confirmation break of one of our key resistance or support levels, and then target the further directional move. So That's why, guys, keep your eyes on this one. Very interesting developments here, and I hope this is a flag. But then again, we cannot really talk about that yet until we get that confirmation. If the crypto starts falling below the 8,917 zone here, now this is where it could turn out to be a little bit ugly for the for Bitcoin, and we could see this one sliding lower. Initially, we'll target the 200 EMA. We're not going to drag this one too much to the downside because this is a very strong area of support near the 8,710 zone, roughly around there. This is where today's S2 is as well, and which also coincides with the 200 EMA and the 100 EMA. So basically, a very strong area of support right here near the 8,700 zone. So roughly around here, guys, keep your eyes on this one, because if we get a drop below the 8,917, yes, we will aim for lower levels, but we'll be very careful because here, like I said, it could test this area right here, and then maybe reverse and push back to the upside. So that's why, guys, be very careful with this one. NZDUSD, something to show you here very quickly. So of course, overall continues to climb nicely, trading above a few upside lines here. So the first one being here, taken from the low of the 1st of October. So it's a bit of a tentative one, of course, but to be honest, all of these upside lines are going to be tentative for now. So basically, for looking at this picture here, you can see that the pair is also kind of moving nicely here to the upside. Of course, the most important thing here right now is to keep an eye on this barrier right here, and let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let me just quickly mark this for our future reference. There we go. So this is something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, the 0.6450 zone. Basically, that's the highest point of September. So very strong barrier. I do understand we're slightly below that right now. The pair found good resistance around here near the 0.6436 area, but just for that extra confirmation, probably a push above the 0.6450 could do the trick for more buyers. Don't get me wrong, because we are kind of could be forming somewhat of an ascending triangle here, and let me just quickly highlight that just for our future reference here. So this is basically what I'm talking about right now. So we could be forming somewhat of an ascending triangle. So in a way, this could drift lower again, and then rebound from this short-term tentative upside line, taken from the low of the 16th of October, and then move back to the upside. But again, that's just an idea. It might not do that. It might straight away go for a higher high, and that's why keep that the retracement idea kind of in the back of your heads. That's in the scenario if we start seeing a move lower here, and if we start seeing a drop maybe somewhere below the 0.64 zone, 0.6390, 95 area. So if we do get a drop below this, then well, in a way it could drift for a test, drift lower to test this upside support line. Now, for now, guys, that's the situation. Of course, given that it seems that it's trying to climb higher. The only thing is that we'll wait for that push above the 0.6436 level again. If it struggles to do that, then yep, we will aim for a bit of downside here. We will target initially the pivot, today's pivot, and I'm talking about for today, of course. We'll target today's pivot, which is around the 0.6414 zone, roughly around there, and we'll take it from there. Maybe it'll reverse and push back to the upside again, but in a way, to be on the safe side, you could just wait this one out, and for the upside, wait for a push above the 0.6436, and then keep an eye on the 0.6450. If it breaks above that as well, then yep, this is moving nicely further north. it would be quite interesting to see where it could and how far it could go higher here. In terms of, yeah, as I said, the downside here, a drop below the 0.6395 zone could lead the pair towards this upside support line, and then we'll take it from there. See what he wants to do. If he wants to rebound, good news for the bulls. If it doesn't, then well, some more action for the bears. USD-CAD. Very quickly on this. So I talked about this one. Well, I keep talking about this one this whole week, and to be honest, it's quite interesting. So after the Bank of Canada interest rate decision we got on Wednesday, the pair exploded to the upside. You can see that, yes, but then it, after finding good resistance around, not far, well, around the 1.3210 zone, maybe just a little bit lower. It drifted lower. It is now kind of forming somewhat of a flag, of course, and we do have a very nice pole here. That's wonderful, good kind of bullish indication. The only thing is just to be on the safe side. Well, ideally to be on the safe side, ideally we would like to see a push above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and a push above the 1.3185 zone, and only then aim for higher levels, because here at this point it could be still tricky. It might travel, find good resistance near the 200 EMA, stall around here, and then reverse back to the downside. So that's why wait for that confirmation break, guys, and then attack. And even then we'll be very careful. We'll keep it short and simple. We'll only target the 1.3240 zone, which is marked by the high of the 14th of October. After that, we'll take a look at it, see what it wants to do. But again, don't forget that we do have the NFPs today, and the US NFPs, and yep, that could provide a bit of movement, and probably the pair could end up just moving sideways here a little bit up until the news release, and that's why we could get that move after the release. But of course, don't get me wrong, don't try to predict it. Try to react to it, because you can easily get stopped out, and you know, you can easily lose your position because the volatility can increase, you know, spreads can increase, and that's why let's stay on the safe side, guys, and keep an eye on the data. Let's say, like I said, make a move after the data release. Of course, like I said, to keep an eye on this, on the figures. The ADP number that came out on Wednesday was above expectation, so kind of in a way good possible indication that the non-farm payroll number could come out higher. But again, as we've seen that happening several times, that ADP sometimes is way off from the real from the NFP number. So that's why don't rely on it too much, guys. And like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Wait for the number release and then react to it. Jumping into another very interesting pair, GBPCHF. I talked about this one, and I'm going to continue talking about this one because it's quite an interesting setup here. So basically, we are waiting for a pop. So as you can see, it's getting tighter and tighter. It's getting into this squeeze, and basically, we do have some information coming out here from Switzerland. We do have their inflation numbers coming out, and also retail sales at around 10 minutes. So we could keep an eye on this one. If it doesn't move it, then of course all eyes are on the Brexit news and anything coming out from the Brexit land. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, and we may see a bit of movement here. So this is quite interesting. I talked about this one yesterday, so we're still keeping an eye on the on some of these levels. So in order to get excited about the upside, a push above the 1.2828 level is required, and a drop below the 1.2740 could lead towards slightly lower levels. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on these guys, and we'll wait for that confirmation break. And the last pair for this session is going to be euro dollar. So this is what I talked about yesterday, basically my traders tea time, and we were testing this downside resistance line from above, and this is what I was saying, that if this downside line proves to be as a nice area of support, it could become a very nice trampoline here for the pair for euro dollar. And also, yep, guys, keep your eyes on the NFP numbers, because this could get affected as well. And for now, everything's kind of looking more bullish than bearish. But ideally, we would like to see some confirmation breaks. And to be honest, to be very boring and conservative, probably will drag. Let me just quickly adjust this. We'll drag our barrier here, or we'll stick to our barrier here near the 1.1183. So a nice push above this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target higher levels. We could target the same 112 or even above that. Above that, we do have the 1.1250 zone, which is marked by the high of the 5th of August, and that could be a fantastic area for resistance. But again, before we could examine that, ideally we would like to see a push above this 1.1183 zone. Yes, everything's kind of looking quite nice here right now. Let me just get rid of this line. But still probably be very cautious, careful. In case this suddenly reverses back down and drops back below the downside resistance line, then yes, we will aim for lower areas. This is when we will start targeting the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, or the area around the 1.1060 zone. So again, wait for this one to make a move, guys. And like I said, and in a way, the thing is here that it could in a way stall here up until the NFP numbers and then make its big move. So that's why be very careful. Probably don't try to avoid entering any positions before the NFP number. Enter after, if you want to, of course, if you feel comfortable. But of course, the most important here, do have your stop loss in place, because it might move up and down, and you know, just in order not to get, let's say, destroyed and on this Friday, kind of on the last day of the week, so before the weekend. So rather be safe guys than sorry. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, like I said, long story short, for now this one's looking more positive than negative. But in order for us to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, a push above the 1.1183 level would be needed. So keep your eyes on this one. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me later on at my traders, tea time as always, that's 14:15 GMT. So I hope you have a wonderful trading day. My video will come out after the number release. So yep. Yep, guys, like I said, we'll catch up then. But as I said, stay safe, guys. Keep your stop losses in place, and like I said, let's catch up later on today. We'll see how some of these instruments have performed, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.